Inside Boxing Throwdown. My name is Steve Johnson, co-host Aurelio Martinez. First of all, Aurelio, nice to be back. I left you last week by yourself. You did a commendable job.
And I was chilling.
Well, I'm just saying you did a good job. It was missing a little bit of flavor, you know. But that's right. The chocolate flavor is back.
Chocolate flavor.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, this weekend we had Saturday night we had two nice little pieces of fights. We had Premier Boxing Champions did their thing, and then we had Showtime did their thing. On this first segment, we're going to talk about that Premier Boxing Champions card because it was actually just a lead in to what was going to happen later.
That's right.
We had Leo Santa Cruz fight on the main event, and then the co-main, if you want to call that, Abner Mares. Both of them won. But there was a fight on the undercard that particularly tweaked your interest because Mr. Martinez decided to blow up my phone talking about this kid. He was like, "Oh, I'm telling you, there's going to be an upset, and I'll be damned if there wasn't an upset." It was the kid who was undefeated at the time, Eddie Ramirez, and Eddie took on Antonio DeMarco, and shocking to most everyone except Mr. Martinez, DeMarco blasted him out in the first round. And it was, I'll tell you, it was a shock to me. I had no idea.
Well, especially knowing the history of PBC and how they kind of bring in
pigeons. Maybe not. That might be a little heavy.
Let's just say B-side opponents.
Predetermined victory.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
I know the outcome.
Well, Antonio DeMarco had none of that. Well, go ahead. You tell everybody what you're.
Well, let me tell you, Steve. I'll tell you one reason it tickled me and I'm happy about it is because just as we mentioned, so many promotions and promoters out there put this golden spoon in the mouths of their up and coming fighters. Okay, so what they do is they kind of cater to them. Okay, and they kind of bring in fighters that they know that they're going to beat, but they also want them to look a little good. Okay, so they brought this DeMarco in. And they figured, well, you know, he's old, he's had a lot of fight. This would be a good stepping stone for Ramirez, and then we can go on and start promoting Ramirez. Well, that didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Ramirez came out like a gangster, man, and throwing punches, and they were all iron punches, but he was throwing them, man, from Mississippi and California, Pomona, and Louisiana, and man, he was going strong, man. He was going to put DeMarco out quick. I mean, and make it impressive. But I'll tell you what,
he got clipped.
I knew he was in trouble because I know the both fighters, okay, and when he came in. And he wasn't in shape. It looked like he didn't even train. He was soft.
Ramirez?
Yeah, he was soft. If you look at the replay, you'll see he was soft. I mean, he didn't have the six pack. He wasn't. He was soft. So he just knew he was going to win. He just knew he had a gift, you know. But DeMarco came on, and boy, I tell you what, when DeMarco clipped him and put him down, and then a lot of people say it was stopped too soon because the referee came in and stopped the fight. But no, it wasn't too soon. Steve. Referee saved his life.
Oh, hell.
Okay.
You remember? Oh, that's right. Well, see, I was here at the Martinez home for your great-grandson Gavin's 3rd birthday party.
Yeah.
And I said, turn on TV. And so we started watching the fights. But you called it, and I said, nah. When you said, man, Ramirez is going to have his first loss. I said, man, you crazy. DeMarco's had 40 fights. I said, man, he's pretty much shot. And once again... Premier Boxing Champion, Al Heyman. You know, like you said, he's doing the right thing and moving his guys.
Oh, sure he is.
Ramirez wasn't ready and he got blasted out. And once again, disappointment to me is afterward when Ramirez said the fight was stopped way too soon. Originally, you remember we were watching the fight and I said, the referee kind of could have let it go a little longer. But as you said, when we watched the replay, he was hurt, man. He was definitely hurt.
It was damaged goods, baby.
Yeah, so it was good, but good for Chris DeMarco because. Chris DeMarco, Antonio DeMarco. Good for Antonio because, like you said, a guy that comes in, he just verified for us that no matter what you might think of Al Heyman and how he does promoting his fighters, he's not bringing in guys telling them, say, here's the envelope, you know what to do. No, because he went in there and said, hey, I'm going to test him.
Well, it's the thing to do. I mean, if you got a prospect coming up and you're really anticipating making a deep pockets investment, okay, you want to make sure they're the real deal. You want to make sure they have the goods.
So,
and this
we found out.
Ramirez is gone. I mean,
hey, let me say this. Okay, let's talk real quick about the Abner Mares fight and then the Santa Cruz fight. The Abner Mares fight, I gave his opponent 2 rounds. I mean, literally just gave him 2, but I think the scores were pretty much on. The scores that were 117 to 110, I think that was about it. You could give the guy 3 rounds. But once again, this fight was a lead-in to setting up for him and Leo Santa Cruz to have a rematch.
That's right.
Leo Santa Cruz against Cruz, that was a good fight for one reason, because those two hadn't fought since they were amateurs. So there was a little bit of, I wouldn't say bad blood, or you could say bad blood.
Well, yeah.
But they were looking forward to this. But Leo once again showed that he's the man. And he even admitted, he said, hey, I was a little bit rusty, but not much. He said, I thought I'd be rusty after having, almost a year off. But moving on from that, because those 2 fights were just a setup, how do you see this rematch between Leo and Abner?
You know what? I think Abner is going to come in, and this is a big fight for Abner. Okay, and what I mean the big fight is because he's got to come in 100% focused, and he's got to come in here and he's got to win. Okay, because what I'm saying is this will determine where Abner goes. We may not hear about Abner ever again if he loses this fight, because that's just the way this fight is. It's one of them big fights. It's like Chocolatito. You know, you've got this fight where you got to win, or else you're just going to drop off the public's radar, and they're not going to care. And that's what will happen to Abner if he loses in the rematch with Santa Cruz. So he's got an awful lot on the line. So he needs to really be prepared for this fight. So I look for a real good fight.
I would like to disagree with you, but I can't. Because I look back at it, like you said, and that's an excellent analogy where you had Chocolatito, because we thought that first fight he had could have been a draw. Yeah. He came back, but he took a beating, as such. But then he came back in the rematch, man, he got blasted out. Yeah. And that could happen to Abner with Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah, not only he can't get blasted out, he really can't lose. He really can't lose, because if he loses,
he's got to go to the bottom. He's too old now to work back up.
Exactly.
And I agree. Leo, and I've always been a big fan of Leo Santa Cruz. His armor's starting to have a couple of chinks in it, because I can clearly see now where they're picking and choosing their fights. And for those of us, who see guys that work their way up from the bottom and then get to the top, then they want to start to be selective in who they fight, when all along they were, what was their whole issue was, these guys don't want to fight me, guys don't want to fight me. Then you get up there and then you don't want to fight guys a little bit, then come on, Leo, you're better than that, man. I want to see you get back up in there. But I do agree with you, and I think most boxing pundits agree that is a fight to look forward for.
It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight.
I think Leo has the advantage. I like Leo. You remember what the thing used to be, man, when people started watching Leo, because he would always do this. They said, well, he's hurt his arm, he's hurt his hand. No, he does. That's it. That's his own little twitch, man, which makes him unique. But I've always liked that kid, man. He's got guts. He's got skills.
I think what you have to see is you look at these both fights that were previewed fights, which were, what you want to call them, entertaining fights leading up. Mm-hmm. If you look at both of them, then by all means, Leo Santa Cruz has to be the favorite in going into the rematch, because
I think so.
Because Abner didn't fight anyone that was going to test him. Okay, he won. He was supposed to win, and he won in good fashion.
But this guy went the distance.
But he didn't fight anyone that was going to really say, "Oh wow, he can beat Santa Cruz." Okay, because he did what he was supposed to do. Santa Cruz, well, he kind of had a similar, but he actually fought. He shook off, like he says, the ring rust. He did this. He's an aging fighter, so yes, I would say he would be the favorite.
I would have been the favorite, just because, like you said, I'll give it to Abner Mares. He was in there with a guy that was determined not to get stopped. I will say that. Yep. And so he went in there, but with Chris Avalos, and they had a history.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Which means that Chris was going to give it all he had. And there's another one, Chris, that got stopped, and he thought the fight got stopped.
So I mean, he had 10 seconds, 10-second bell. So, but But he actually had somewhat of a test.
Yeah.
Abner didn't have a test.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. So we look forward to that. And we'll, as that fight develops and gets closer, we'll keep you guys updated on that. But that Premier Boxing Premier Boxing Championship card that was at the StubHub Center in Carson, California, a good one. We're going to take a quick break, let you refresh your coffee, get some more popcorn, whatever you need to do, because the next segment, we're going to talk about that fight card that was held up at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York.
That's right.
That was where the main event was Erislandy Lara, but also they had Jermell Charlo on that fight card, and they also had
Austin Trout
against Hurd. So
good.
We'll be right back. Right. Radio.